Everything in existence seems to come in temporal stages. The rock, the water, the life all came in at different periods of time in the world. All the elements on the periodic table were forged in the Big Bang at different periods of time, sometimes even millions of years apart. I believe it's called a spring-autumn romance or a spring-fall romance. That would be you Generation Z, I'm Generation X, and we date. And then we create the strongest possible DNA in a baby. Speaking of DNA, DNA is embedded with the Fibonacci sequence because that spiral, the golden spiral, is represented within DNA when you look down at it top down. Everything in existence is a spiral within this galaxy, and we are within this galaxy. The golden ratio is a series of gaps. Plus, you look at the high telomerase in individuals of people that want to have a baby. In this period of time, it would be Gen Z and Generation X, because Gen Z has the strongest DNA for creating the baby from the female standpoint of being between the ages of 18 and 21, and middle-aged men between the ages of 35 and 55, which means that if you combine the two, because of the high telomerase within the DNA strands of the reproductive transport cell and the reproductive stationary cell combining, so maybe there really is an intergenerational pattern to this entire universe that we're just not looking at. Because look at how it works well with Generation Z, with Generation X. Look at the Fibonacci sequence. Look at telomerase. You back and forth on this enough, and you realize that when something is in spring, it blooms, it pollinates, it sends the pollen into the air, and the seeding part takes place within the fall. Not in the summer or the fall. There's a gap period. Think of this from an intergenerational standpoint. Think of this for breeding plants. Think of this for breeding animals. Maybe there's something important that we're not looking at within humans, because the telomerase high point of fecundity is the measure of quality within the reproductive system. And if we look at that from the period of those two standpoints, and we look at the intergenerational pattern of moons, planets, stars, galaxies, the universe itself being at different points and periods of time, the only division is time. And we know that time is an integral part of figuring out the grand unified theory. Think of that too.